Differences last game, you didn't have Trey. Carter was not where he is now. What do you see from this game?
Well, you talk about us. I think, the first game we didn't play with Robert, second game we didn't play with Trey. But there was some things that we did as a team well in both those games. And so you need to accent those and then make sure that we, as those guys have continued to improve, that we continue to improve as a team and play well. I thought the last couple of games we have. And so heading into the tournament, you have a little momentum. They're a much different team, too, I think. They lost a heartbreaker the other night to Florida State, lost another one yesterday to NC State, beat Wake Forest on the road. We know how difficult that is. I think only us and them and maybe one other team has won at Wake Forest this year. And they have some dynamic scoring ability, so it's really important that you just have to play well.
Last game, they really hurt you with the three. That's what really kept them in the game.
Yeah, their drives, they're so good off the dribble that if you don't guard the dribble, then you're kind of cuts you both ways, because now they're getting to the rim, and as you go and help, now they're able to kick the ball out for open threes. And that's when they're at their best, when they're doing both those, and it usually starts with their guard play and penetration.
Certainly, they've proven that they're not a team you can look over. Obviously, they won over Syracuse, those two close games that you talked about. Just not a team you can look over.
No, there is none in this league. Without their starting center the whole year long, they've been at a little disadvantage. But they have a couple guys playing better now. Caudle is now moved to the 5 spot, which allows Anderson to play at the 4, which makes them efficient offensively. And a little better defensively as well. So they're a team that has unfortunately in some cases found ways to lose games, but they've been in every game. And whenever you have a player like Hanlon and Rayhan and Anderson in close games, those guys can win it for us single-handedly. And we saw that last year when we played them in Greensboro. We could not guard Hanlon. We could have brought football 4-3 defense out there, he still would have scored 40 that night. You know what I mean? So they're a team that on any given night, can beat anybody. They've proven it.
How's your confidence going into this game as a team? How's your confidence level?
As a team or me personally?
As a team, no, as a team.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Our guys have done an unbelievable job this year. They've responded well to difficult situations. Have never hung their head and never looked for excuses. It always says if you want to find an excuse, anyone will do. Our guys have never done that. They've kept fighting, and I think over the last 2 games, they've reaped the benefits of that and that resolve that they've shown. And we've played our best basketball in the second half of this year. Some of it is due to health, some of it is due to young guys maturing and so forth. So hopefully we can continue that in Greensboro.
Your confidence okay?
I'm good, man. I'm
You're
good.
good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Just check.
I'm good. And when it's not based on yourself, it's always good.
Brian, this tournament is typically a team that can get on a run and do really well. You feel like that could be your team this time?
I think we have as good a shot as anybody. I think this is one of those, it's interesting with the format. It's so different than what the traditional ACC fans and is used to. If all things work out, we're playing our 3rd game against a team who hasn't played yet. And you've seen in the Big East, teams have gotten on a roll and been able to, use that momentum. It's always, I still say, it's always an advantage. If you've won a game and you're playing against a team who hasn't played, I think there is a slight advantage for that team because, one, you're already feeling good about yourself because you just came off a win. You've played in the gym before. You've kind of faced the fear of a one-and-done situation already. And, it'll be interesting. I think it doesn't always work out that way, but in a lot of these tournaments, I think you see teams that play well early can make a run and can win the whole thing.
BC has done a good job of getting Daniel away from the basket and cutting down on his rebounds. Can we expect any different matchups, perhaps?
Well, again, they've kind of changed a little bit and going with more traditional 5 and 4 man than Anderson at the 4. But I think Daniel has proven himself to be one of the better players in this league. And when you go into a tournament, you need your best players to play well.
It looks like your offense is playing at a much more efficient, right, than it had been. Would you say the same for the way you guys are playing defensively?
We've been better defensively. I thought we were really good in some spurts in both Syracuse and Virginia Tech. At times, like we've talked about, our transition defense has been a big question mark, and it has to be really good anytime you play in a tournament, anytime you play with a group of guards, against Rayhan and Hanlon, you better be good in transition. So that's going to be a big key.
Robert, he's obviously playing really well. And I remember you saying when he was coming back that sometimes it's good for guys to get it taken away from you. Do you see some of that in him, that he's a little more dialed in?
Yeah, he's, like I said, he's been really good. I think over the last 4 games, it's close to a 17-9 clip, and to be honest with you, those are the numbers we need from him. And he didn't rebound as well in the last game. I know he's looking forward to bouncing back after that, but he was very, very good offensively, scoring the ball in a variety of ways. You can just see he's in a better flow rhythm on offense. So we need him to play well. We're a different team when he's playing well. And I do think sometimes, those 6-7 weeks that he was off, there's maybe a little greater sense of urgency right now, and you always fight when you're a young player. You always fight that last month of the season where you're looking into, all right, here's what I need to do this spring and summer to have next year to have right. You still got games now, and I think he's had that mentality.
And it seems like just his body language kind of indicates that he's very much into the games every.
Yeah, he's if you're. Actually, if you're not, you have a problem. You know what I mean? But I think he is more engaged, and he always was, but I think it's even at a different level right now.
Coach, you buy into the fact that it being an underdog in the tournament, you can play a little looser, you can play a little more relaxed. It might be even easier than when you kind of advance. You buy into
I'd much rather be 30-5 right now. Then I'd figure that out at that particular time. But yeah, our guys, we haven't played. This is not a team that plays with any tightness or nervousness or whatever the case might be. We have just enough veterans and the young guys that played a ton of minutes. We've played a gazillion close games over the last 2 years. You know what I mean? And so they've been through a lot of different scenarios, and I think at times we've shown the poise that you need to have in those.
With Trey back now, can you talk a little bit about the importance of Corey's contributions, being able to come in to spell him at the 1 or come in at the 2, play strong defense, maybe on someone like that?
Well, Corey's well more advanced than I thought at this particular stage of his first year playing. He's playing more minutes than I thought. He's affecting the game more than I thought. I thought we wouldn't see, and we still haven't really seen him with the explosiveness that I know he has. But defensively and moving the ball and sharing the ball and getting us into stuff, he's done a great job.
How much, when you're playing in a tournament like this, certainly it's different than the traditional 8 or 10 team tournaments from when the conferences were smaller, but how much is there looking ahead? Because if you do win Wednesday, you have to play a game Thursday. None. You just play it one day at a time?
None, yeah. So that's the easiest question of the day. We got to worry about Boston College, you know what I mean? And we know who we're playing if we win, and we know we're not playing if we don't. So the most important thing is to take care of business on Wednesday.
With a guy handling the way he scored against you guys and just played overall, I'm sure you're not surrendering anything to him, but I mean, in a way, are there times, I guess, when a guy he sees a team and he gets more confident or whatever it is? Or
he's been pretty confident. Obviously, he had the one outburst against us. And in the other games, I thought we've done a pretty good job. He's a really good player, so he's done that against some other teams now, too. I think he's one of the premier players in the league. So the key is always, whenever you play guys that can really score, and you can't give them anything easy. That's the thing. You can't give up any easy baskets. So you can't give up any layups in transition. You can't give up any open threes where you screw up on coverage. You just got to make him earn everything. Now, he's good enough to earn it and still score a good number, but that's the key. You got to make him work for everything.